My chosen area of professional practice is editing. Is something that just kind of instantly clicked with me. From the moment I opened Premiere Pro and I put those clips into the timeline, it just felt really easy to me, and I hadn't really experienced that with something before. I'd struggled with many subjects at school and etc, and nothing had clicked with me as easily as editing did. So that is, what inspired me to look further into it as a career path, and that is why I am still interested in doing it today. So editing just feels like you have a lot of freedom, despite having to follow orders from the director and listening to their suggestions. This is still mainly why I enjoy it. It's why I want to do it, because even though I'm not the most extroverted of people, it's a much more, I'd say, introverted job role, because it requires so much focus. Just you and the computer and the footage, and you've got to be essentially in your own world within that editing suite. But it still requires collaboration, and it still has a team working aspect to it, which I don't want to miss out on, essentially. You don't feel isolated, despite it being such an intimate role and such a singular role. You still get to collaborate, and that's an aspect to it that I love. When I say as an editor you have the job of piecing the story together, an example I've had with this recently is our 5-minute short film. It was so interesting to me how I had to read the script they were given and go through all of the footage that they filmed and try to understand the story despite not being there from the pre-production process within their group. It was an opportunity for me to really experience what it's like as an actual editor within the industry, because I've only ever really edited my own films, so I was at an advantage there where I knew what we wanted, and I feel that made it easier to piece the story together. A big task that I am grateful I took on, because now I feel like I am much more confident in when we move on to the next year. With the 10-minute films, I feel much more responsible for doing this. I feel like I am more capable now than I would have been at the start of this year. To get into the editing area of the industry, I have researched the job opportunities there are in order to carve a pathway into this and how to get started. A lot of people start as a runner for the editing department, so that would essentially be fetching files, fetching footage, making the editor beverages, and assisting the assistant editor so the assistant editor can assist the main editor. There are many different websites where you can apply for roles and specify what part of the industry you would like to go into and find job opportunities within your area, within the country. Network. It's really, really important. Knowing people is a complete advantage, and they can really help you enter the industry. Also, having a portfolio of work doesn't hurt. I currently have one with my work from college, and is what allowed me to get into this university. Is they looked at my work and they saw that I was capable. I have since turned my portfolio into an editing portfolio, and I have added every editing project that I've worked on. There's many different job roles within editing. As I said, you can be a runner, you can be an assistant editor, colour grader, sound editor. There's so many different avenues, but the one I am mainly interested in is film editing. Sound is not something that I am completely confident in. However, in order to stretch my editing abilities. I would like to become more confident in doing this. I want to enter the film editing side of the industry. But who inspired me to do this? The filmer Shoemaker. Shoemaker has pretty much just about edited every single one of Martin Scorsese's films. He is responsible for Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino, and most recently The Irishman, which was a 3-hour long movie that was crafted excellently, in my opinion. In my opinion, film Shoemaker's editing doesn't just put the film together. She elevates the film. She knows just when to cut and where and why. And she paved the way for many other women within the industry, and she is a true inspiration to me. To have worked with Martin Scorsese, who is a well-beloved film director for as long as she has, and for him to keep asking her back to edit his films, I think that is a true testament to just how talented she truly is. Dede Allen, who sadly passed away in 2010. However, she was one of the most important figures in the editing industry. She was essential and was one of the first to truly bring true artistry to the craft of editing. She, didn't just cut for the sake of piecing a narrative together. I believe from watching her movie Dog Day Afternoon and Serpico, she knows how to cut for the sake of emotion, understands the emotional beats of the story, and I think that's really, really inspiring. There's a great quote from Dede Allen that is just complete evidence of how intelligent she truly was as a film editor, and just why she truly understood a narrative within her editing emotionally. She said, "When I start cutting a movie, I always cut with ambivalence. I have a definite intention, a definite starting point, the dramatic function of the scene, the psychology of the characters, etc. But when I become absorbed in the material, I suddenly see all the possibilities the material contains, the unexpected, intended and unintended possibilities. I can't help wandering into the material." This just really evidences to me her connection with what she is editing. The next person who inspires me is Paul Rogers, who is a new film editor. I recently discovered them last year after watching their recent Oscar-winning film, Everything Everywhere All at Once. With the editing, I was enthralled by it. It made me want to be a better editor, essentially because I was so jealous of whoever edited this movie. As soon as I left the cinema, I went home, googled it, because I needed to know who had accomplished this achievement. What was really inspiring about the editing on this movie is the fact that it was edited in Premiere Pro by one man on an old iMac of his. It wasn't some huge editing studio with multiple monitors. It was the one monitor, one iMac, and an editing software that I use on the daily. It is truly inspiring to me because it proves what can be done with little resources. You don't have to be some hotshot editor in this huge studio. So in conclusion, the part of the industry that I want to try and create a career pathway for myself within is the editing aspect to the film industry.